What's up guys, it's Project and it's finally here, my secret build that is actually secret and not just something people have been copy pasting for the past 2 weeks that I fine-tuned to destroy PvE with. This time we're going to Bleedsville, except it's not a Rivers build. Yay! But it's using bug mechanics. Ooh. So yeah, this is half a build video and half a bug report. So this is gonna get nerfed, I'll state that off the bat. Whether From catches on to this bug before the next patch though, we'll see. But I knew about this for a week. I was gonna make a video separately about it, but I figured I smashed them all into one video. So now that I have my character done, it is time to spill the beans. So we'll cover the big bug first and then the build. Essentially, Bloodflame armament incantation buff is bugged. At the moment, as of 1.03.2, I hate saying that, its special bleed over time effect, which I think is unique to this weapon and Morgoth's sword, well, it's affecting things it shouldn't when applied to your weapon. Obviously, any melee hit Ash of Wars are fair game, they're working as intended, but did you know if you use Glint Blade Phalanx, something people would normally associate with magic or cold scaling, wouldn't even think to put bleed on it, right? Well, putting heavy or keen scaling and then slapping Bloodflame on it and solely using the blades will eventually trigger bleed. This is 100% not intended. Thunderbolt, probably the main PvP potential one, can proc bleed in addition to lightning with Bloodflame on, which if gankers use this is gonna be annoying to face in an already bleed heavy meta. But perhaps my favorite from testing PvE wise is the Golden Land. Combined with Great Stars, you slam the Warhammer into the ground, which does an explosion and then fires beams of light. Well, with Bloodflame on, each of those beams will build up bleed and even heal you due to the hammer's effect. So now you have a monster stagger breaking skill in addition to bleed, something bleed players never even thought possible with their puny katanas. And the only other application I noticed it worked on was a crossbow for some reason. If you have Bloodflame on your right hand weapon and then a multi-shooting crossbow in your left, well, even with standard bolts, the Bloodflame effect applies to them, causing you to do bleed buildup with each bolt. So pretty crazy, and that has application in PvP. And for spells, the only one I found that works is Fires of Deadly Sin. You know, the whole Eclipse Shottle Deathblight Glitch Catalyst thing. That was fixed, except, well, they missed Bloodflame, as combined with this causes anything near you to slowly take blood loss over time, in addition to the fire damage. And Rivers of Blood won't be able to take advantage of this, Eleanor Pull Blades won't be able to either, nor the Arcane Seppukuist. No, only pure strength or dex weapons with the Bloodflame slapped on can inherit this power. Not that Rivers still doesn't do more or nearly as much damage as this against, say, Millennia, but yeah. That is the bug. Bloodflame is bugged. It's not insanely OP like Resolve was, or something like Carrion Retaliation or Hoarfrost, but So with that roach out the way, now we can get into the build. Welcome to the Blood Goblin, a dirty build abusing the bug to destroy PvE. And even if it is nerfed, which it probably will be, I made a countermeasure to still be somewhat functional. And that is, it's just a strength build. It's just a strength build using bleed weapons with Bloodflame slapped on. That's it. So when Miyazaki's barefoot comes to stomp our little bleed bug, well, you got Unga Bunga strength to simply switch to for a Roll Knight's Resolve build or a strength/faith build, whenever you want. In fact, that's how you beat the last boss cause, well, it's immune to bleed anyways. So this bleed build is more well-rounded than Rivers. Look at that. And I'm demonstrating 4 weapons you can choose from. So we also have variety instead of doing the same slash combo for 50 hours. So for the weapons, we have Vulgar Militia Saw with the Phantom / Ash of War equipped. The Saw has innate bleed, and this 2-part skill adds a Phantom to charge ahead of you before your upswing, and then pressing L2 again sends another Phantom to go downward, so 4 hits total. This covers a pretty long range in front of you, and the coolest part is even if you're stunned, simply smashing L2 usually gets a Phantom to go through to hit the enemy, meaning getting stunned actually increases our DPS because you're sending out an extra Phantom every time you get hit. The big downside though is the first swing of the skill is kinda funky to land, as you have to face the direction you're aiming in, with little leeway to change direction. So a simple dodge to the left or right completely avoids the skill, and it's kinda hard to turn around, but it's good for roll catching otherwise. You can farm this off from the little dudes using it in the Dragon Barrel region near our beginner's farm spot. There's one you can farm right next to the Grace before the dragon on the bridge. And for Phantom Slash, you have to beat a Dark Horse at night near the Forbidden's Lands Grace here. The skill is limited to halberds, twin blades, scythes, and spears, but the saw is the only one that gets a scaling heavy, with innate bleed, so it is best in slot. Although its normal moveset sucks, so it's up to you. The scythes are pretty cool. And while not a weapon, if you don't like Phantom Slash, you can change it out for Spinning Weapon. This combined with Rotten Sword Insignia does crazy damage to bigger bosses that don't move much, which I used against Malekith to absolutely destroy them. Next is Raptor Talons. I merely picked these as these are the lightest bleed weapons in the game, only 1.5 weight. However, you can pretty much substitute this for any fast hitting power stance weapon, or even something like Starfist if you wanted to punch a mofo to a bloody pulp. These also get a scaling in heavy, so again, consider that. I slapped Bloodhound Step on them because OP, which is gotten from another Dark Horse, the one near Lenny's Rise at night. The Raptor Talons themselves are found in Sage's Cave and Altus Plateau. I always keep these weapons in my left hand so I can swap to it and then two-hand it to use Bloodhound Step whenever I need to. And the last weapon is the Great Stars, our Oonga Boonga weapon. As said, Golden Land with this and Bloodflame is OP, so we use that. And I actually killed Melania with this as well. Not quite as fast as the claws, but pretty darn good. Now Golden Land has two parts, the slam down explosion, and then you can follow up with an R2 for a big swing. However, that is not the most efficient for what we're going for. Instead, hit L2 and then keep moving forward on the analog stick and spamming L2, and you'll get out more follow-up Golden Lands much faster, meaning more bleed lasers and more healing than the last big swing, although that does tend to knock back humanoid enemies pretty good. But the Great Stars is found in a chest around here from one of those moving caravan thingies in Altus Plateau, and the Golden Land is found in the Deep Root Depths, which can be gotten to from Necron after beating the double Gargoyle boss fight and then entering the coffin near the waterfall. The skill itself will drop from a scarab behind a big avatar near the beginning of the Deep Root Depths. Now, of course, bleed can't touch Elden Beast, as I said, and I even heard people switch from my Rivers build to Asta build just to beat Elden Beast. So, instead of doing that, we're just going to use Great Stars as the weapon to change to, and altering the build to a jump attack build, using Claw Talisman, Roll Knight's Resolve, and Raptor Chest Piece, found in the same cave as Raptor Talons, Sage Cave. You equip all that junk alongside Ritual Talismans, and simply two-hand, Resolve, and then jump attack spam Radagon and Elden Beast to death. And while I did use Mimic for the fight, you don't actually want to use Mimic. You want to use Tish for this one, using the unlimited FP Wondrous Physic Flask effect, the Cerulean Tier, which lets you summon Tish without meeting the FP requirement. And yeah, she melts the boss's health away better than any other spirit in the game. So those are your three weapons. You swap in between the ones you want. You don't need to use all of them if you don't want to, but I'd say Great Stars and Raptor Talons or some other power stance weapons with innate bleed are the go-tos. For our seal, I'm just using Dragon Communion Seal. All we do is buffs, so it doesn't matter which seal we use. You can get this from the first locked dungeon at the beginning of the game, right after the tutorial area. Now for armor, this time you're free to fashion. I'm not doing PvP with the bug, I'm above that life, so I just threw on Amon Smirk Mask and other junk to look like the troll this build is. Amon Smirk does give you 2 strength however, so use either that, White Mask, Imp Heads, or Albinauric Mask to get more stats. I'm going to use White Mask in my Rivers build, so I'm just having fun with other stuff here. Talismans, these will change based off your approach. Shard of Alexander is best in slot for everything but Raptor Talons and the Resolve Great Stars setup, increasing our skill damage by a lot, and you obtain it at the end of Alexander's quest in Farum Azula. Next, Lord of Blood Exaltation is best in slot for everything but the Elden Beast setup. You get it from beating the boss in Lindo Catacombs, found here. And the rest is a free-for-all between Rotten Sword Insignia, gotten from helping Millicent at the end of her quest, which is best in slot for claws or the spinning weapon skill. You can also use Millicent's prosthesis on top if you wanted to for more damage, but otherwise just use defensive stuff like Erdtree Favor +1 or 2 or Dragon Crest Great Shield. or like the +5 to strength talisman, and you can use sword seals if you want, just know that you're going to take more damage with it on. For spells, we got 4, all incantations. First is Golden Vow, giving you a 15% damage boost and a 10% damage negation for PvE for a whole minute and a half. Pretty much one of the best buffs in the game for PvE. But this is gotten in a shack in Mount Gelmir, here. Next is Bloodflame, of course. What would we do without this? But this is gotten from a scarab, I believe, near the Rose Church, around here. Third is Fire's Deadly Sin. Combine that with Bloodflame to trigger bleed buildup to anything near you, and you get this from the Flightless Bird Painting quest. And the last is Swarm of Flies, the sole reason I get 16 Arcane, and this is purely for the Infinite Dragon Respawn rune farm, which that might get patched, but we'll see. But if you watch my How to Get OP with a +10 weapon early video, I take you to Mohg's Palace, and at the very end of the video, I show the location for the flies. You can use that to farm the dragon to get all the way to 125 fast. Otherwise, yeah, you don't need it. But 15 Arcane is nice if you want to use the Dragon Rot skill, for example. We do not use Flame Grant Me Strength because it does not stack with Fire Pillars, they cancel each other out. But after the Bloodflame bug does get patched, yes, use FGMS for a 20% physical and 20% fire damage boost all in one skill that stacks with Golden Vow, so big damage. And you want to use it if you're going to use Phantom Slash, since you're never going to be close to the enemy for Fire's Deadly Sin to matter. Next are Flask. Again, play by ear, but the fire damage boost one is nice since Bloodflame does add fire damage to the weapon. Or you can use the strength boost one, and the other is the consecutive attacks one here. And yeah, whatever else you want, kinda doesn't matter. Although again, if you want the Tish Spirit, you can get the unlimited FP one to simply drink and then summon her. But with Mimic, you can do a little trick I do with aromatics. Simply having them on your equip slots, so you're not going to use them, but Mimic will periodically use them even though they're on your equip slots. So if you have the Acid equipped, it'll use it and lower the damage of the enemies. Or if you have Uplifting equipped, your Mimic can grant you an attack buff since it affects allies. So take that, Dung Eater. Mimic is still pretty good. Although, yeah, if you did do Dung Eater's annoying ass quest, you can use him for the defense and build up debuff. So that maybe that's best in slot. I don't know. I don't have him. Can't test. Annoying quest. And finally, stats. 125 simply because this game is an unbalanced mess, so who knows where the meta level will be after everything is changed. I really wish they would let us degrade our levels so you have no fear of getting locked to a level like you are now. But this is with everything off, so you pretty much copy paste. No runes, no helmets, no talismans. We get a lot of life, a lot of strength, enough mind to use Golden Vow, Pillars, and Bloodflame all in one mana bar, enough endurance to use what I got on without Erdtree's Favor or Arsenal Charm, so depending on what you want to wear, you might need more endurance. But back to stats, 25 Faith for the incantations, and 16 Arcane for the flies. I do not pump Arcane up solely because our damage otherwise will be trash, since you can't use occult scaling with the Bloodflame buff. And frankly, bleed as a whole is gonna get nerfed eventually, guys. It happened in DS3, it's gonna happen here definitely, along with the Bloodflame bug. So again, worst case, this becomes a strength/faith build. We have backups. Now, with everything on and Godric's rune activated, giving me +5 to every stat, now you get the stats that you see in the clips. The amount of stupid comments I got about that in my Asta video is insane. So guys, use the great runes. They're in the game for a reason. You kill the bosses for a reason. You get these items for a reason. Use them. So yeah, that is the Blood Goblin build. Hopefully you guys enjoyed me showcasing something different, right? You got variety, you got damage, you're not sacrificing defense, you can beat the final boss pretty easily, and well, hopefully this brings more attention to the bug, so that gets patched, and we can slowly work towards this game becoming balanced for once. So give the video a like if you want more creative stuff like this. Comment down below when you think they're gonna patch the game. I think we're kind of due one any week now. But that's all for me. River's build is next, and then more Prophet, because those are the only two classes in the game, Astrologer and Prophet. So if you don't want to miss out, make sure to subscribe and hit the noti for more Elden Ring epicness.